Yo, what's going on? This is David. Welcome back to the channel. As always, remember to like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Really appreciate it. As always, I am not a financial advisor. Do your own research, people. Do your own research. I am not a financial advisor. But hey, first and foremost, it's Christmas Eve. Hope everybody's with their families, enjoying themselves. I just wanted to come on and have a little Sunday evening stock talk and see where you guys are at. You know, like I said, you're probably with your families, probably wrapping up your Christmas shopping or watching some football. And I was actually watching some games until all my fantasy players went down. So once that happened, it's time to turn the game off and let's talk about something else. So, so I just wanted to have a little stock talk this evening, see what you guys are, what you guys plans are for 2024. What you guys plans are for the remainder of this year, because hey, we are still in, or we supposedly in what they call the Santa Claus rally, the week of Christmas and the first couple of days of January, and where the stock market can possibly go up even more. So just want to see what you guys are, what's on your minds in regards to your portfolio. So first and foremost, tomorrow's Christmas. I have a question. Do you guys buy stocks for your kids for Christmas, right? Or birthday? Do you buy stocks for your kids on Christmas or during birthdays, or are you just like a normal gift, presents? Your kids may be too young to even understand what you're doing, but we're talking about building wealth, generational wealth. You know, this is a good time to, instead of buying a $100 toy, hey, buy that $100 ETF. What's going on, Mr. JRH, the trading trucker? Says he's in Publix right now. Are you getting one of those famous chicken tender sandwiches from Publix? I was actually about to go to Publix today. I'm trying to get away from them chicken tender subs. I try to go to get the turkey subs, but hey, those chicken tender subs, man, they're hard to turn away from, man. So that's $9 to $10 well spent. Other than that, man, I think Publix is kind of high unless you get some of those buy one get one free deals. But yeah, so like I was saying, do you buy your kids stocks for Christmas? I don't think I've ever bought my son any stocks for Christmas or his birthday. I do buy them on the regular. For him, I have funds that go into his investment account usually every week or every 2 weeks actually, and then we go about buying some funds, some stock in his account. So, Fidelity has those has accounts where you can set up for your kids if you don't have, if you don't know that already, set it up for your kids and you can invest for them. So we do that for my son currently. So everybody should have an investment account, I think, for their kids. So, but most people don't buy their kids stock on the regular. Definitely not for Christmas. Probably don't even cross most people's minds. But it's just something to keep, as your kids get older, something to keep in mind. Hey, maybe we should buy you some stock, maybe every month, every 2 months for your birthday, for Christmas, instead of these toys or these shoes that you probably want to outgrow. Let's buy you something that's going to be helpful for you in the long run. So just something to keep in mind. Keep in mind. Hey, Mr. Cherry, appreciate you subscribing to the channel. Appreciate it. So, so that was my first question. My second question: what are you buying in 2024? Like for your portfolio, what are you buying? Right? What type of portfolio are you setting up? If you're a new investor, if you're an experienced investor, what's on your wish list for 2024? Are you looking to buy ETFs? Are you looking to buy particular stocks? Do you have a trading challenge that you want to do in 2024? What's the game plan? What's the game plan for you to grow your portfolio 2024. Mr. Cherry says wanting to do cover calls. Hey, I just started doing cover calls a couple of months ago. It's definitely a learning experience. I'm learning on the job training. So I'm doing cover calls on Amazon and Google right now. I do have 100 shares of both. So, I've had some good days. I've had some bad days, like I said on my last video. But cover calls is an excellent way to increase your income. It's an excellent way to build up your portfolios, and I've learned that firsthand. And with me, with the cover calls, just like with the options, it's a mental situation where once you kind of learn the basics, now you have to learn when to play the game, when not to play the game. So, hey, that's the game. But cover calls, once you get, like, I have other stocks that I have 100 shares of, but as I was doing the research and looking at the volume of activity, it didn't make sense, right? It doesn't have a lot of volume for me to do cover calls. But when you have your Amazons, you have your Google, Apple is my next goal to get 100 shares. I'm definitely going to do cover calls on Apple once I reach 100 shares. Like, I think I have about 91 shares. So that's a great goal to have, is to do cover calls. So, it's a lot of videos out there, a lot of information on YouTube as far as learning how to do cover calls. So I forgot the guy's name on Twitter. I don't have his name in front of me. It's Coach something, but he does a lot of cover calls, cash secure puts, and stuff like that. So I do listen or look at his tweets and kind of follow some of the things that he does. So, it helps out a lot. So my first cover call, man, Amazon and Google like jumped up on me like so quick, and I was not experienced about rolling the cover calls, and man, I took like a big hit, right? I had to actually sell some of my Tesla stock. I kind of panicked, right? So I didn't know what was going on. How when the shares jump 7 or 8 points in a day, it's like, man, I'm so deep in the hole. But just understanding how far out to what your expiration dates. Give yourself some time. Basically, is what I had to learn how to do. But that first one, I took a big hit on. I had to sell some other stock to cover. Just because I was just inexperienced on how to maneuver. But I'm a little better now, 4 or 5 months down the road. I mean, into the game, I'm a little bit better on how to maneuver some of those cover calls. So let's see what else we got. Doing a 20-day average day in Apple starting Tuesday, going into 2024. Yeah, man, Apple. Like, if you start in a portfolio, like I said, I'm not a financial advisor. I think you should have Apple. Like, that's almost a no-brainer that you need to have Apple in your portfolio. Like I said, I'm almost at 100 shares, but man, if I have to buy one stock every day, or actually I need to, you know what? That may be a challenge for me in 2024, where there's $10, $15 a week in the Apple. I'm gonna do that because I need to get to those. I need to get to that 100 shares of Apple. So that's probably going to be my next challenge. Is just finding the best way to invest in the Apple, and it may be a $20. What are you doing? $20 a day in an Apple starting Tuesday? Oh, that's good. I don't know if I can do 20 a day. I may try 20 a week into Apple, but yeah, the Apple's that's the place to be. Let me see what else. What about an ETF portfolio? You guys have an ETF portfolio that you just have nothing but ETFs in? I know a lot of people don't like to deal with stocks. They're kind of afraid of the single stocks, so they go straight to the ETFs, which I think is, a pretty good strategy. VOO, VTI. Man, Vanguard has, if you don't want to even trade stocks at all, I mean, Vanguard has enough ETFs where you can just trade. I mean, just invest in Vanguard positions, ETFs, so you should be good to go, depending on what sector that you want to invest in. So, let's see. Lisa says she does $5 a day And Apple, man, okay, I might have to do that. I might have to do that. $5 a day. At least I saw your pick with Larry Jones and stocks with Josh too. That was a great pick. I'm glad you was able to meet them. I actually met both of them at InvestFest here in Atlanta uh, back in August. So that was a good experience for myself. And those are two of the main guys that I listen to, along with others. But I love Larry. I love stocks with Josh as well. And you have VTI, VOO, SPHD. I did have SPHD at one point. I do have VTI, I do have VOO. I don't have them in the same account. I have VOO in one account. I have VTI in another account because I think those are like two of the strongest ETFs. So I want to kind of have those spearheading, each particular portfolio. So yeah, VTO, VOO, VTI. I think SPHD is that like the spider dividend. I think it pays what every month. I believe the SPHD. I can't remember off the top of my head. Do $10 a day into VTI. Wow. Okay. So I think it's those type of investment challenges that really help build your portfolio, right? So when you have a daily challenge or a weekly challenge or even a bi-weekly or monthly challenge, man, that's what really helps build a portfolio. It takes all the guessing out. The real in my opinion, right? This is just my opinion. The real hard part is picking the right stock or picking the right funds, right? Or ETF or whatever you want to do, right? That's the hard part for me. Once you find the right stock or the right ETF and you're going to roll with it, now you want to set up your investing challenges, right? Your daily challenges, your weekly challenges, your monthly challenges to spearhead and grow that portfolio over time. And you want to give yourself time. Like you have to be really patient in this game, but the game is the long term game. We talk about cover calls, we talk about options and things of that nature. But if you build a solid portfolio and you invest in it over time, that's where you're going to start building your wealth. And that's what I've learned myself. The main stocks I bought in 2016, I still hold those stocks today. And when I look at my portfolio, you see the 80, the 90, the 100% returns on those stocks, right? So Google, I got it right here. Let me just pull it up. Pull up my Fidelity here. And the account that I have my Google and Amazon in. My cost base average is $26 in Amazon, $27 in Google, $89 in Apple. So that's Amazon, that's a 473% return. Google's a 417% return. Apple's 116% return, right? So that all happened because I bought back in 2016. And I remember when I bought Amazon and Google, they was trading at like $500 a share each. And I just took, I didn't have a lot of money, right? But when you have I'm gonna tell you exactly what happened, right? You work at a job, you have a 401k. A lot of times when you leave that job, you transfer your 401k. Well, to your next 401k at your other job. But what I decided to do, because at that particular time, 2016, I've been hearing about the stock market. I worked at E-Trade for a few months, right? Didn't learn everything, but I knew I had to invest. But anyway, I worked at a job for like 10 years, built up some funds. And then when I left that job, instead of transferring my 401k, I said, you know what, let me open up an IRA instead, right? And so I dumped those funds into an IRA, and I ended up buying Google, Amazon, Apple, and I bought Facebook at the time. And I sold Facebook last year when it kind of started to go down. I wish I still had it. I actually bought it back. Definitely not as much shares. I kept the ones in my son's account, and he's up over 100% with his in his Meta shares. But yeah, so the Google and Amazon was trading at $500 a share, and of course it got up. Especially Amazon got up to like 3,000 a share, I believe. They probably both was over 3,000 at some point. And then of course they had the stock split. So uh, that's how I ended up getting 100 shares when you do the 20. I believe it was a 20-to-1 stock split, either last year or the year before. So that's. But the point of the story is holding for long periods of time, right? So you invest in the best companies, you hold for a long period of time, you'll see those big returns. So during that time, you'll go through the ups and the downs of the stock market. So just imagine, right, if you had bought when the market crashed in '08 and '09 into the top companies and you're still holding those now. And I think that's where a lot of us missed the boat during that time, right? When the market crashed, we should have been buying stock, real estate, mainly stocks and real estate, right? I ended up buying my house in 2011 when the market was down, and it's just about learning the game, following the money, right? Learn the game, follow the money. So when the housing market was down, I ended up buying a house in 2011, and you see your equity in the house is like 3 times now, right? So um, that's all you have to do. Like if we would have bought stock, we would have bought Apple, Amazon, all that back in 2008, 2009, man, you probably wouldn't be seeing me right now for sure. So, but yeah, man, that's the name of the game. Long term is the goal. So for me, I don't know if I'm adding anything in 2024. I'm really trying. I actually started a few positions, a few portfolios this year, and I think I want to add to those positions in this one particular portfolio, and then I want to have a couple of investing challenges going. Right, what is $5 a day, $10 a day, $10 a week, whatever the case may be. So, but yeah, that's the name of the game. So let me check out this portfolio. Let me know what you guys think. This is a small portfolio I have in Fidelity that I just started maybe 2 or 3 months ago. So let me see. I'm gonna read off these positions. Let me know what you guys think here. So let me go to it here. So in this particular position, this portfolio, I have Nvidia, I have Meta, I have the Fidelity Index Fund FXAIX, I have UNH, I have McDonald's, MCD, and I have a Yield Max. Remember, Yield Max NVDY. So remember what I said. For me, I like the Yield Max. I don't like to put them all in one account. I like to have it spread out. So for me, I like to have, when I'm building a portfolio now, I try not to have no more than six positions, right? I want to have some growth, some growth stocks, some ETFs, some dividends, and maybe a high yield max to really, really max out the dividends. So that's kind of my strategy. So, like I said, this position, Nvidia, Meta, FXAIX, UNH, MCD, NVDY. So this is a portfolio that's actually up now 12%. And like I said, I've only had it for a few months, and it's being led strongly by Nvidia. I'm up 24% on my Nvidia position. I'm up 25% on my Meta position. I'm up 9% on the FXAIX, up 4% on the UNH, up 12% on McDonald's, and I'm down 5% on NVDY. And like I said, the total portfolio is up 12%. So it's a small portfolio, but I think I want to add. I got to come up with some type of challenge so I can constantly add to this portfolio, because I want to build it up in 2024, because I think it's a pretty strong portfolio. At least, no, I didn't share because it's in my Fidelity. That's kind of like overall, even though that's a small portfolio, so that's my big portfolio. I usually share my Robinhood portfolio, which I'll do in a few minutes. But I was just reading off the positions because I have it pulled up. I just didn't share it. But yes, but let me go back. Let me share my Robinhood portfolio just to show you what I have long term in that portfolio here. Bear with me 1 second here. So this is another smaller account, right? But this is my Robinhood portfolio, and these are my long-term positions, right? Remember I said I had VTI. Well, I have VTI in this account, and I'm going to build up that VTI. Then I have QQM, and then I have Main, and I have APLY, and I just, to get into AI, I just recently bought this AIQ. So those are going to be my long-term positions in this particular portfolio. This is my Robinhood portfolio that I just mentioned that we just recently hit 5K. So we just hit 5K. You see year to date in this portfolio, we're up percent of $1,800. So we're looking to grow this portfolio. I want to get into the $6,000 or $7,000 range, right, before the end of the year. But that's going to depend mainly on my long-term positions, my crypto. I'm expecting big things out of crypto next year. If interest rates are cut, I think that's going to have a positive effect on crypto. So I'm going to be looking to build on my Ethereum, Bitcoin, and Doge. And then here are my cover calls. Not cover calls. These are my option plays. These are not cover calls. My cover calls in my Fidelity account. These are my option plays. These are just some call positions that I have in Google and Apple, out of the money right now. But they're doing pretty well. Google on this call, I'm up 8%, and we just opened it on the 21st. So we're up 8% right now. And then if we go back to the Apple, because I'm really just getting my feet wet in the options game this year as well. So cover calls and options, I'm trying to learn both at the same time. So I'm gonna bump my head a lot, but you see this Apple position, this Apple call, we're up 18%. We have plenty of time. It's September expiration date on the Apple call, and I believe it was April expiration date on the Google call. So in this Robinhood account, we're playing three ways here. We're doing options, we're doing crypto, and then we have our long-term portfolio here. So the ET, the VTI, QQM, right? The QQM is kind of a smaller play of the QQQ. And I have QQQ in one of my Fidelity accounts, but this was the QQM, and I have VTI, and I have some REITs, right, with Main. And then APLY is going to be my this is yield max, and it's going to be that dividend, that strong monthly dividend in this account that I, once I build it up like I want to, is probably going to eventually start using those to build up other positions, right? And then I have the AIQ, that's my AI investment. So that's kind of the strategy around this particular portfolio, and kind of how now going forward is how I build out my other portfolios. So that's just the strategy behind that. Now I want to have like real lean portfolios, but with strong positions. I used to have a lot of positions, but not strong positions, right? I used to have 3 or 4 strong positions, and I have 5 or 10 speculative positions, and it's just it'll have your portfolio going, everywhere, right? So you think you're doing well here, then you just you can fall off a cliff in a matter of seconds if you don't have the right stocks in the portfolio, the right ETFs in the portfolio. So let's see, I've been buying 65% VOO, 35% VXUS. Okay, I like that. Those are 2 good positions right there. So VOO, it's like investing in the S&P, right? So I have VOO, and I also have SPY, not in the same portfolio, but if you believe in investing in S&P, why not invest in VOO? Why not invest in the SPY, right? Just like I was showing you QQQ. Then I had QQQM because I believe in the NASDAQ. I think the NASDAQ got up to like 16K in 2021. So we still haven't gotten back up to the all-time highs in the NASDAQ. So I think we have still more room to grow. And, I'm hoping that, tech continues to keep pushing along in 2024, especially after we had that pullback in 2022. So when we had that pullback in 2022, I knew I was invested too heavy in tech, right? I said how long I held Google, Amazon, and Apple. Well, they all pulled back in 2022. So what that did was infected my entire portfolio, even though it was the reason why I ran up in the first place. Also, it was the reason for the big pullback last year. So since last year, I've been trying to find the right rhythm in my portfolio and balance it out more to have other sectors, besides just tech, for the long term. So a lot of people do dividend portfolios or strictly growth portfolios. That's just whatever type of strategy. How much do you add per week to your Robinhood? It depends, right? So let me go back. Let me see if I can go back and just to show you my strategy. I actually paused my recurring investments, but I can show you because it all depends on what I have going on with my finances, right? So that's just my per se. Let's see here. So, like I mentioned in my last video, I just recently paused my recurring investment, maybe for about a month or two, just because I wanted to clean up some debt real quick. So, when that happens, I just have to pause some investments and then knock out this debt real quick, and then I'll jump back on it. But these are just how I usually have it set up, right? Reoccurring investments. I do a $5 in the QQQM, and I used to do this. I was doing it every bi-weekly, but I pushed it back to monthly. And right now, I'm gonna just pause it for about a month or two. But this just shows you how I would go about doing it, right? So we'll have a small investment in QQM, $5, $5 in VTI, 5 in the main, 5 in the APLY, 5 in the ET, 5, and then I go with the crypto. Same thing, right? 5 in the Bitcoin, Doge, Ethereum, and then AIQ. So that's kind of that's what my strategy is with that. So with the Robinhood, I set up my recurring buys. Then I have the options going. If I get to a profit taking position with the options, now I use those. Now I use those profits and invest into the crypto, invest into the stocks as well. So so that's my strategy for that. I set up my recurring buys, then use profits from the option plays to invest into the positions as well. So that's why I like Robinhood, man. You can kind of set it and forget it with the automated buys. So despite what people say about Robinhood, I always invest in Robinhood as long as there's nothing crazy going on with the company. So to answer your question, that how much I add per week can vary. It varies a lot. It can be the automatic buys. If it's something that I want to buy right now and I just have to send some money over, I'll do it. But I can tell you one of my because I love investing so much, I think one of my downfalls is I don't keep a lot of cash just sitting there, right? I know a lot of people, they keep a lot of cash because when it's a dip or when it's time to buy, they just they ready to go in. I think that's a great strategy as well. I like to have my money working for me. You know what I mean? So when I send money over to my investments account, I'm ready to buy right then and there. So having money just sit there is something that I'm working on. I do it a little bit in the Robinhood account. So I may have I think I had like $75 or something that was just there sitting in cash. But if it sit there too long, it's like money burning in my pocket, right? I got to buy something. So I'll buy one of the positions that I already have, or buy some crypto, or look for an option play to jump in. So that's kind of my strategy on that. Um, but yeah, I'm ready to jump off some new investment challenges for next year. Definitely, Apple is going to be at the top of the list. I was able to get up to 10 shares of VOO this year. Not 10 shares this year, but overall in my portfolio, I have 10 shares of VOO. So I think that's a good number to have. I want to kind of keep adding on to that as well. I was able to build up my SCHD a little bit, so I want to keep adding on to that as well. And it's a few other things. I also want to, I want to keep building these yield maxes, right? So, but I don't want the yield max to be like the majority of my portfolio. So, in the event that one of those yield maxes go down, it doesn't, kill my portfolio. And I did get hurt a little bit with TSLY, the Tesla yield max, because Tesla dropped, and I bought at 16 and it got it down to 11. And in my mind, I know that Tesla's going to go back up, but I think I just got, I just hated seeing my portfolio or that position down so much. So I ended up selling out of TSLY, and I ended up buying into go to this portfolio. I ended up buying into QQQY. So, and I'm up on QQQY. It's paying just as more actually. It pays more so far. It's fairly new. It's paying more than the TSLY, and it's been working out really well for me for about the month or two that I just got into it. So I just started buying my first individual stock, which was Disney. Okay. My son actually has Disney. I don't personally own it, but my son has Disney. He has a few shares. I think Disney is it's on the way. It's on the way back up. It hit some rocky times, but I think it's on the way back up. Let's take a look at Disney, right? Let's see what we got here. Let's see what Disney working with right now. Let's just take a look at Disney. Disney's currently trading at $91 right now. And for the past 5 days, down 1%, 1.89%, almost 2%. Over the last month, down 4%. Over the last 6 months, it's actually up 2%. And then year to date, Disney is up 2% year to date. Well, let's take a look at Disney over the last 5 years, and you can see Disney's down 15% over the last 5 years. But I think Disney has, I think they're on the come up. I think they went through their troublesome times over the last 6 months, and you get into the political stuff and all that. But I think Disney's one of those companies that's just too big to fail, honestly. And I never owned any myself, but like I said, my son has Disney, and I think that over time Disney is going to do well. It's going to do well. So I don't think that's a bad start for you. So yeah, man, wow, that's your first stock though. That's okay. That's a good start though. But you're buying the ETFs, man. You're a VOO, VXUS person, so you're going to be all right. And let's see here. So I have one last question I get to. So if you were starting a portfolio in 2024, what would be the first position you would buy, right? So let's just say if your family comes to you, your kids come to you, say, hey, I want to start a portfolio. What's the first position would you recommend or would you buy for them if you was managing a portfolio? Would it be a stock? Would it be an ETF? Would it be Google, Amazon, Apple, VOO? What would be that first stock, right? Because a lot of people, they're going to start investing in 2024. It's going to be their first time buying. It's going to be their first position. What's on the top of your list? You say VTI. Hey, can't go wrong with that. Me, it would probably be, well, like I said earlier, I think everybody should have Apple. So I think Apple will be at the top of my list. But VOO wouldn't be far behind. VTI wouldn't be far behind. You know, those are the top notch, right? You know, invest in the whole entire stock market. VTI, VOO is, you know, the S&P, and it's a lot of, you know, positions inside VOO and VTI that overlap. So I don't think you can go wrong with either one. So that would be high on my list, right? Apple, VOO, VTI, because, you know, as you are diving more into this investing thing, you start talking about it, you start mentioning it to your family, you know, you setting up your kids' accounts, you know, people want to come to you. So, you know, what's your recommendations? What do you think I should buy? What, you know, all this, that, and the third. So some, you know, I ran into a lot of people that think like, oh, I need to buy these penny stocks. You know, if it's 3 cents now, if it goes to, you know, $1, this, that, and the third. And I'm like, man, I don't think you want to do that. You know, I don't think you want to be investing a lot of, you know, take that $100 or $200 and buy you some Apple, buy you some, you know, you got an iPhone right here. You don't have no Apple stock. Buy you some VOO, buy you some VTI or some Google, or, you know, Amazon, and, you know, once they split, Amazon and Google got down, I believe, less than $100. They might even dipped into the $80 range. Like, to me, if you didn't own Amazon and Google beforehand, like those are the times to really load up on those positions if you were able to do so, and just hold on to them for the long run. But to go back to my question, if I was starting a portfolio in 2024, what would I start with? Yeah, Apple, VOO, VTI. So if you had to pick 5, right? Let's just deviate from 1. Let's pick a portfolio of 5. So we got VTO, we got VOO, we got VTI. What else? What would be your strategy? Is it an all ETF strategy? Do you want to have ETFs and stocks? Do you want to have, you know, dividends? You know, these yield maxes have come in and just start going crazy. So what would be your strategy to build out your portfolio in 2024? So, you know, some of you guys may want to build a new portfolio, you know, not only adding on to what you have, but build a new one. Let's look and see what VOO has done this year. Let's see here. Year to date, VOO is up 24%. And you know what's crazy? I heard Wall Street Trap say that he uses VOO as his savings account. And just think about if you had your money in the savings and it was up 24% this year, right? That's what VOO is up year to date, 24%. Now, instead of having your money just sitting at a bank in a regular savings, you know what I'm saying? You have it in a position like VOO and you're up 24%. Let's take a look at VTI. Year to date, VTI is up also 24% year to date. So do you think that's a good strategy? Like what Trap say, he says he has his savings in VOO. Do you think that's a good strategy to put, you know, your savings into a VOO or a VTI for the long term? This is money that you're probably not going to touch for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. would that be a good strategy to do? I think so. I think it's a great strategy, actually. Um, I like to have a little bit of money in cash, in my personal banking account, just in case I need to touch it real quick, because you never know what can happen. But I think that's a good strategy, man. Having your money sitting in savings, man. I mean, instead of having it sitting in savings, have it sitting in an ETF like VOO or VTI. I think that's pretty amazing, right? And that money is going to grow. Think about if that's a large sum of money and your account is up 24% year to date. You'll never get that in a regular savings account. So, but yeah, that's for this year coming up for me, I want to keep investing in the positions that I'm in my portfolios. I want to start a new investing challenge. I want to keep honing my skills and practicing cover call options and also call options. I don't really do put options. I just do call options and cover call options. So that's what I want to do. I want to keep honing those down. I want to keep watching my portfolio just grow. I actually did it back in 2021, but I guess when the market pulled back in 2022, I stopped doing it. I used to track all my accounts daily, right? I had it in the Excel sheet and, I just kept up with it daily. But once I saw that number going down in 2022, I was like, man, I'm not about to keep watching this go down. All this money. So I canceled it out, but I just started it back, right? And I want to do that 2024. I'm not going to track it daily, but weekly. I have all my accounts that I have that has money in it, whether it's cash or stocks, and and I just had a total amount at the end, and I'm just going to track the weekly return, each week, right? So every Friday, close after the stock market close, I'll just go into all of my accounts, get the total amount, put it in my Excel sheet, get the total amount. I have the weekly, what is, positive and negative, put the formula in. And I just want to track how I'm managing my cash for 2024. Whether it's cash, investments, both. So my savings, my 401k, all that stuff. So it's just, having your pulse on your finances. And I think it's always a good idea to know what's going on daily, really. But for me, definitely week to week, month to month, to kind of track how I'm managing my cash. So that's going to be a goal for me this year. It'd be a lot easier to do it weekly than every day because, who wants to do that every day? And I used to have to catch up every week anyway. So, but yeah, so that's my strategy, man. So it's getting late. It's Christmas Eve. I appreciate you guys, stopping in. We're going to be back not tomorrow, but maybe on Tuesday to tap back in. And, I'm going to do a better job of being consistent, but we just going to have normal stock talk, man, where you can be comfortable talking about stocks, comfortable talking about your portfolio, and, let's bounce some ideas off each other. Let's bounce some stocks off each other, bounce some ETFs, some strategies off each other. Let's start an investment challenge, right? So that's why it's just stock talk, right? So, have your family and friends join in, share the stream, like the stream. I really appreciate it. And we're just going to have a normal conversation. We're nobody's experts. We just want to build portfolios for the future, and create that generational wealth, something to pass down, something for us to live on and pass down for generations to come. So that's my goal with this page. And, remember, I'm not a financial advisor. So, this information is just for entertainment, educational purposes only. But, let's have some good dialogue. So I appreciate you guys chiming in. And I hope you have a Merry Christmas or Happy Holidays, Happy New Year. But we'll be back in a few days to talk some more. And but yeah, man, remember to like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell. I really appreciate it. And I'll see you guys next time.